YouTube, how's it going? I've had a few people message me quite recently, obviously, asking about my build for Miss Fortune. The one that I've been using, obviously, to get the pentakills that I've been managing to get, and the general build I've been using. I have been meaning to make a video on this, so I've got a Sunday afternoon free. I thought I would hop on and do it. Now, the website you're looking at here is leaguecraft.com, and essentially it's just the website that I used to, or website that I found where I could find all of the items and obviously get all the information about the items and just set a bit of it in order of how I do it. I'm not going to be using this website to obviously set a mastery thing for you or an item thing for you, as you can do here, and have like the MF with obviously the 6 items that you would end up with and so forth, but it's essentially going to allow me to show you what it is that I use. So obviously Miss Fortune, we all know who she is, we all know what she can do. Obviously these here are obviously last season's, so these have changed a bit. Essentially they're the same in terms of that's still what it is. The ulti is still the ulti. Make It Rain is still the cannonballs from the sky. Impure Shot, it's not called that anymore, but it is still where her auto just does more damage and obviously gets bonus speed. Not sure if these numbers in here are correct, but essentially it's the same thing. And Double Up is again the same thing. Hit a minion and you can hit the target behind it, so forth. Strut now is essentially in Impure Shots. So that's all been changed, so don't pay too much attention to that as such, but what I would do is pay attention, or if you want to, of course, pay attention to this part here, which is how I build her. Now, when I start the game, obviously when you all spawn in and you buy obviously your trinket, your free ward, your health pot and your Doran's Blade if you're AD, which always helps. What I do is obviously I buy the Doran's Blade, I don't buy the health pot. Now that's just me, but that's because it'll give me 50 gold towards the BF sword, which is my next item, but also I always forget I've got it and I don't use it. It's something I'm going to have to get out of, but it is something that I do, and it's worked so far, obviously up to level 24 I think it is I am now. I know it's not the highest level, but it is it has helped so far. So as you can see here, so level 1 Make It Rain, and then it just goes between Make It Rain and Impure, so between the E and the W, so level 1 E, 2 W, 3 E, 4 W, 5 E, 6 obviously the ulti, and then 2 Ws and then 2 E's, then ulti, then finishing off your W, and then from then on I just rank up the Q, the double up, obviously for the rest, apart from level 16 when I can pop the ulti to its highest capacity. Now I literally do not use double up. I probably should, again, just like the health pot. This is me, this is my build, this is the build I use, this is what I found success in. Yep, it might not work in rank play, it might not work when I get obviously to higher levels and start playing against people that actually know what they're doing as opposed to me. But this is what I'm using at the minute, and I'll give you some examples at the end of this little tutorial-y bit showy thing, which will show you the sort of damage that you can do and show you a bit of obviously the pentas and the triples and whatnot that I've managed to be able to get with this within obviously a very short period of time. Now, my build, I wasn't entirely sure how to use this website necessarily, so I'll just go through it how I would say. So obviously spawn in and you're going to go straight for the Doran's Blade. Obviously again, these figures here, like 70 health, 7 attack, 3 lifesteal, and the price, they're not accurate. Obviously season 6 now that we're all on, so these are all last season's prices I think, and last season's figures, so ignore the figures and just note down obviously the item itself. So I go straight in with Doran's Blade, go down bot lane, obviously get some kills and whatnot. Now the way I play it, again, this is me, this isn't how it should be played necessarily, but this is what I do. I refuse to port home unless of course I die, unfortunately, which with this build or the way I play I don't, or don't too often anyway, but I refuse to port home before I'm either level 6 or before I've got 1300, because it's now 1300 for the BF sword, which obviously, as you can see here, it used to be 1550, but it's now 1300. So what I do is I go home, obviously, or back to base, whatever it's called, get the BF sword, obviously back to lane, and then I'll go either BF sword and then pickaxe, and then finishing off with the cloak of agility, which has gone up in price now. It's actually 800 instead of 730, but that's still the same price. So that's gone down, that's the same, that's gone up in price, and then obviously this here. And then I'll buy the Infinity Edge. Now, depending on how the game's going, if I can sense it to be... This doesn't quite make sense at first, but it will. If I can sense the game isn't going too well, or if I can sense that if I can sense that the game is going to last a while, I'll then go straight in and build Runan's Hurricane, obviously with the daggers first, and then the whatever this is again, the bow, the is it the recurved bow? I think it's called. But yeah, so I'll go in, the recurved bow. So I'll go get the recurved bow and obviously build that into Runan's Hurricane. Now that'll give me a bit more attack speed, which is pretty good because MF's attack speed to begin with is absolutely dire. But also it'll give me the ability to get more minions, obviously, which means more minions means more gold, which means level up quicker, which is always a good thing in League. After that again, I'll then go back home and obviously BF Sword, Vampiric Scepter, Longsword, obviously building up hopefully into the Bloodthirster. Now that's going to give me my life steal, as well as a lot of attack damage, which is always good as an AD. And then after that, I go for crit, so I'll essentially build the Phantom Dancer, starting with the Cloak of Agility and or Brawler's Gloves, depending on what I've managed to get, what I've got left after the Bloodthirster, or what I've managed to get after I've got the Bloodthirster and then ported home. And that takes me up to quite a high, obviously, attack speed again, and also a high crit. After that, I'll then buy the Cloak of Agility. Now, at this point, I think, if I've worked this out right in my head, I think once I've added the Cloak of Agility in here, I then have 100 crit, or 100% crit, which is ideal. So that's crit out the way, and then obviously I'll use that cloak and build that up into Infinity Edge. So at the minute, we have an Infinity Edge, a Runan's Hurricane, a Bloodthirster, and a Phantom Dancer. Building this, obviously, the Cloak of Agility, BF Sword, and Pickaxe into the Infinity Edge again. I'll give you your 5th item. Now, we then have this here as well, the Dawn's Blade that we bought at the top here. So Dawn's Blade is our 6th item. What I'll do is I'll wait until I can, and I'll sell that off to and swap for a BF Sword. Then, after I've got the BF Sword, it goes straight into Bloodthirster. So I don't know why these two are here actually, because obviously I would have... Let's get rid of these. So at this point I'm going to have 6 items here, and then obviously I just wait for the gold to come in off the Hurricane and get the Bloodthirster. So the final build ends up with 2 Infinity Edges, 2 Bloodthirsters, a Runan's Hurricane, and a Phantom Dancer. I know it's not the best build in any way, shape or form at all, but it works for me, like I've said. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of the build itself. There's a quick shot at the skill builder if you want to have a look or copy that. I mean, it works for me, and I'll show you some clips straight after here. So the videos I'm going to play after here, it is going to be some new footage which you guys haven't seen. The new footage which you haven't seen, it's nothing special or anything, but it is a couple of triples that I managed to get in the same game, pretty close to each other. And then obviously the 2 pentakills which I've managed to get in a couple of previous games. I'll also give you a comparison between what MF's stats look like in game at level 1 to what MF stats look like at the end of the game being level 18 with this build. Obviously the 100% crit, the AD. I think this gives you about 300 AD and about 100% crit, and 100% crit even, and about 1.52% attack speed. So it's not the fastest attack speed, but because you've got that crit there, it's going to give you a bit, a boost. I mean, it hits minions with about 559 damage, your crit at this point, so you're pretty much one-shotting minions. Obviously, because you've got this as well, the Hurricane, you can just one-shot minions and just pop through there, and that's going to get you up considerably higher. But what I'll do is I'll play some of the videos now for you that I've obviously some of the videos that I've got some of the gameplay with the kills and whatnot, so you can see how powerful this build is. So obviously straight away, as you can see, there is a massive improvement. Like straight away, obviously these are the level 1 sort of stats, so you're looking at about 658 life, 54 AD, you've got your attack speed of 0.68, 0 crit, mana is 325, and just generally like range of movement, all this sort of stuff, life steal 5%, obviously quite low, but it's what you'd expect with a level 1, obviously 39 seconds into the game, sort of stats, essentially. So obviously with the build, if you follow the build that I've obviously made the video for here, if you follow the build even just for a match or a couple or so, even just a private match maybe, you'll see that obviously the if you do it in the right order, or at least end up with those 6 items in whichever order it is that you want, you'll see that you will end up with a completely different set of skills. Now obviously you do get the normal level up skills, so when you level up, XYZ will go up by 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 will go by XYZ. So this is level 18. This is pretty much right at the very end of the match. Obviously got quite a good screenshot here on the right hand side. You can see a triple kill there that I've just managed to get. Obviously HP, it's not that big for an AD. Well, it's not that big compared to a tank, but I seem to be quite well with it, especially when I've got 22% life steal. That sort of HP doesn't really bother. But also 19 HP per second I also have. Now the attack damage isn't massive. I've seen bigger ADs in this. I've literally seen about 500-600 AD build. This is 300, but when you look at the crit chance of 100%, you do not need a massive AD. I mean, I was hitting minions and taking minions out with about like in one shot, and they were critting at about 559. So that's obviously pretty good. Now if you compare that with if you combine that with Miss Fortune's W, where she picks up her attack speed, even though now at this point the attack speed is 1.54, 4 hits and you've done 2k damage pretty much almost. Obviously the range is a bit bigger, the range stays the same of course, but the movement speed has gone up a bit as well as obviously the mana that's gone up, and mana regen per second, just the general sort of things that you'd expect to go up throughout the game and the level up. But it is a really good build. It is OP. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna lie about it. It is definitely OP, but it does help. And essentially these stats right here will tell you, or will show you that's true. And obviously the gameplay, triple kill there under their turrets in their base. They pretty much just ran off from the base, or ran off from the market, or whatever it is, the shop where you buy things, where you spawn into. They ran off there, and I managed to get a triple kill with this build against the people that had just come out of spawn. But yeah, so anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you may have learned or at least found some things to teach me throughout this video here. I may be wrong about everything, but this is what I use, this is what I've used, and this is what I'm going to continue using for MF until it stops working, which I'm pretty sure will be fairly soon. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that sort of fancy jazz, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.